Hey everybody, this is Epiphany Tanya. I'm back with yet another video. I hope you're ready for this one because in this video, I'm going to be talking about more reasons to vote for Donald Trump in 2020. So I have my little notes and I'm going to read you so many reasons that I have what I see and why I want to vote for him. And I'm hoping that some of these reasons help you as well. Now, if there's anything in this list that I list and it's something I missed, please drop it down in the comment. But before we start, make sure you like, comment, subscribe right there, hit the notification, hit the subscribe, and stay up to date for all my latest videos. We're getting started, getting ready for this debate tonight. This is the night of the debate as I record this. And it's so much excitement. It's so much momentum in the air. This is almost like waiting for, I don't know, some prize fight or you're just like, what's going to happen? It's like, I haven't been this excited since a favorite movie was coming out, since I want to go see that movie Tenet. Like, I don't know. It's so exciting. And it's a little nerve wracking because you're like, you don't know what's going to be said, what's going to happen. The reports, they're reporting that Trump is down, and I really feel like they're not taking into account the silent majority and a lot of different factors. But anyway, let's go over Donald Trump's track record since he's been in office. I'm sure I'm going to miss something, but please, please, please make sure you comment, help me out, tell me some other things that he's done that I didn't put in this list. So, number one, Donald Trump is a big supporter of religious freedom. And he's constantly speaking up on behalf of freedom of religion. And he supports the Constitution, which gives us that right. And I just don't know about that other side. I really feel like they're suppressors. And I can go into my reasons, personal reasons that I have in my experience as a Christian believer, how the Democratic Party worked to try to suppress you practicing actively your faith. We can see that now with the churches, the pastors getting locked up and all this other thing. Now, some people are happy about that. So for some people, this will be a, kind of push on the other side. Like, okay, yeah, so I don't want anybody that's making it so I can have freedom of religion because maybe they're atheists. So that would make them want to vote for Biden. Okay, so freedom, religious freedom. Number two is that, again, it's on the, some might say religious side, which is that he named Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And I mentioned this in another video that spiritually, anybody who blesses Israel will be blessed. So the nations that bless Israel are going to be blessed nations. So he's helping to bring in spiritual as well as financial prosperity on America because he's blessing the people that God himself said, if you bless them, I'll bless you. Number two, he's for, again, all these are starting off with a lot of religious, spiritual reasons, but I feel like that's where we have to start. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. All these things will be added unto you. So I'm going to start with those and bear with me because I'll get to other ones that you may have more familiarity with. But protecting the unborn, he's doing things to protect life in the womb. And like I mentioned in another video, God said, I before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. And, for them to think that pro-choice, that it's your choice to kill a child, so then it should be someone's choice it should have been that officer's choice to do what they've done now to plenty of African-American people. That should be their choice too. If you have the choice to kill, why are we fighting in the streets then? I don't understand. I don't get it. If you have it's your choice, right? Anyway, moving on. I think this is 4, no salary. This man has not taken a salary since he's been in office. He's donated. I just found this out. So this was really like a really game changer, or like really solidified me wanting to make sure that I'm putting my vote in for him. The fact that this man has not taken a salary, that he just used his billions that he already had from his businesses, and he's donating his salary as the president every year. I don't know any president that's ever done anything like that. So you have to give this man some kind of credit for something. You guys, if you hate his guts, that's fine, but recognize when he's done something altruistic and good, okay? The next one is he cleaned up the mess that Obama made in the Middle East. So a lot of people don't understand or know what happened when Obama was in office, and some of the gaffes, as they like to say for Joe Biden, that Obama made. And Obama made a mess in the Middle East. He moved the troops out of Iraq that George W. Bush had put there when, you know, they had this whole war, and they went over there, weapons of mass destruction, and that whole, what they now consider a fiasco, because there was no weapons of mass destruction that they found. But when the troops were over there, and they were pretty much helping them set up a government by being there, their presence. And so then George Bush sent in more troops towards the end of his presidency, because it was kind of like he had a decision to make, what was the right decision, because if they took him out, that would cause issues. If they left him in, that was going to cause issues. So he actually decided to put more troops in. So then when Obama came into office, he totally defied a lot of his advisors who were telling him how to handle that situation in the Middle East. And he took those troops and he sent them into Afghanistan to fight a war in Afghanistan. In the meantime, while they're fighting a war in Afghanistan, ISIS is setting up camp in Iraq, which caused another problem with the rise of terrorism. And that's how you have the Pulse nightclub shooting, because those terrorists put out a call. Once they establish this land, which they have a name for it, when they establish this land, then that emboldens the other terrorists around the world, and they called for the other terrorists to rise up. And that man that went and shot up the Pulse nightclub came out of that group, and he said he did it in the name of ISIS. So Trump went in there after that, and he totally had the troops take care of that problem. I'm not going to say what he did, but he had them take care of that problem. That's not an issue anymore. If you notice, has there been any more type of terrorist things going on in America since probably the Pulse nightclub? I don't know what other things have happened after that. I can't think of any major things right now. Now a lot of stuff that we're seeing happen is like within. It's like fighting within right now, but you don't see a lot of terrorist stuff right now because Trump came in strong, and his strength, the people, the other nations, they know not to mess with America because of Trump's strength that he has, which most of you guys don't like him for that. But because he's strong like that, it lets these other nations know that America's not to be played with, okay? And sometimes you need that strength when you have certain forces coming against you. You have to stand strong, okay? Another one is that and you guys know I feel this way because this was my first video that I got introduced on Be Like Water Media, was talking about the tax credits that he makes for small businesses. So that's another plus for him, is the tax credits for small businesses, because he's a businessman. So of course he's going to support business, right? Which is going to stimulate the economy, which is going to make people's lives better. And entrepreneurs, it's a rise of the entrepreneur right now because of this freedom of business and a business-minded president that is making all types of benefits for the average small business entrepreneur professional. He sent money to he made provisions for the HBCUs to have money for their schools. So when Obama was in office, they always had to come every year begging for that money. But Trump made it so they don't have to ask for the money. They're automatically given that money every year for the HBCUs, historically black colleges, and universities. So African American people need to wake up that he's actually doing a lot of things for us, for our people, for our communities, to help us and lift us up out of the inequality, disparities, marginalization, all these things that we're always griping about. But then you have a president in there that's actually doing things to help the cause, and you keep feeding into the narrative that's been spun against him. Okay. The next one is he's working to make America great again by bringing jobs back. Now, I know that slogan has been a triggering slogan for a lot of African American people because we don't understand. When we see everything through the lens of racism, we miss the point of sometimes what someone's saying. Just because a white person says something, or just because Donald Trump says, because not all white people that you see this with, but because Donald Trump said it, then you think that it's racist. But Make America Great Again actually was a slogan first coined by Ronald Reagan, that he borrowed that term from Ronald Reagan, who was the first one to say that. So no one protested Ronald Reagan when Ronald Reagan was saying Make America Great Again. And no one was like, well, when was it ever great for the African American? We didn't see a rise up of black people saying that then. But we see this now because of this narrative that has been spun against Donald Trump. And so the term, let me break it down for you, my black people, my African American people, the term make America great again, he is referring to manufacturing and bringing back the jobs. There was a time in America when America was almost seen as the superpower, as one of the richest nations in the world, and all the countries of the world looked to us as the financial superpower. China started taking over that role. China began to rise up as a superpower. For one, they steal a lot of people's intellectual property. That's one way that they're on the rise, because they're thieves and they steal. Another way now we see them on the rise is because they released this virus. So China began to take over, and then he start putting these stipulations against China, the tariffs and the different things that they couldn't just trade as freely, and all of our jobs and everything else wasn't going over there to them. I kind of wonder if this virus that was released was a retaliation tactic against the fact that he started putting all these stipulations on China, and China didn't have the same power that they had once Trump came into office, because of all that he started setting up and setting into place. He started bringing jobs back in. He started opening up the trade for America again, to be great again. And he's talking about manufacturing, he's talking about industry, he's talking about jobs, he's talking about business, bringing business back to America, putting America first instead of making all these other countries first and giving away our resources until we become like the third world country and all these other countries are prospering, which makes no sense. You take care of home first and then you can help everybody else. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Okay, now the fact that he's a law and order president, to me, in my opinion, and you don't have to agree with me, and you may be offended by what I'm about to say, but to me, the only people that want to defund the police are either criminals, or they have mental issues, or it's some type of trauma there. You have trauma, so because of something, that bad experience you had with a police officer, and you want to defund the police. But mostly, primarily, it's criminals that want the police defunded. So the fact that he's a law and order president, you have to start viewing him through the lens of law and order and not through racism. The stuff he says is because he's law and order. It's not against your race, okay? Because if he was against your race, he wouldn't be putting money into the HBCUs and a few other things I'm going to get to on this list. Now, the next thing is, so we said law and order president, the fact that he wants to restore law and order and not have us live in total chaos, anarchy, and destruction, or live like, if you go, like I said before, to that video about Chaz and Chop and see how your life is going to look like if you totally defund the police and abolish the police. Go live there, go to Seattle now and go move in on that street if they let you do that again, because I know they took it down now. But go to Seattle, sit in the middle of the riots and live your life like that for the rest of your life, and just keep fighting with the police. That's what you are asking for if you don't have law and order. The next thing is that let me see. I said something about the country down. Oh, he shut the country down during this pandemic, trying to put a stop to the flow of people traveling from other places and further spreading the virus. Now we know, because things were hidden and everything wasn't told, then no, he didn't shut it down fast enough. Because why? China held back the information of what was going on. And you also had a lot of people on the Democratic side that was putting pressure and complaining about him shutting it down. They were in China. What was it, Nancy Pelosi and these people were in China. What is it called? Oh my goodness. The place that the different cities, Chinatown, there you go. They were in Chinatown having dinner and meals and saying, oh, it's no threat. So I don't understand. The same people that were saying it was no threat are mad at him, saying that he mishandled it. It makes no sense. So anyway, moving on. He also, I'm sorry. He also put in place the First Step Act, which helped release African American prisoners who were sentenced to nonviolent crimes. He's helping them come home to their families, right? So we had Joe Biden and Bill Clinton, who wrote this 94 Crime Bill Act that hurt the African American community and put a lot of African American men, women in jail, took them away from children, broke up families. But that was written by Joe Biden. He wrote that legislation. And so Donald Trump signed the First Step Act, which helped release a lot of those same individuals that were affected by that 94 crime bill. And your friend Kamala Harris was also making sure she locked up black men big time when she was the attorney general over there in California. So moving on. He also now has set forth an economic plan for the black community where he's planning to pour, I think it's like, is it $500 million? I forget the amount. You can go to Anthony Brian Logan's page. He breaks that down, that plan that Donald Trump made for the African American community, black community, and how he's going to help improve us over the next 4 years with his plan. He actually has a detailed plan. Where's Biden's plan? I'll wait. Okay, next. He has a plan for the wall, and his wall is not racist. It has nothing to do with your race. It has nothing to do with if you're Mexican. He's not against Mexicans, okay? He's not against he's not against Spanish people. It has to do with crime, okay? He's trying to keep the criminals out, so he's planning to build the wall. He's, that wall is getting built, and it's to keep out the criminals, the drug traffickers, the gang bangers of the MS-13, whatever their little gang name is, and sex traffickers. That ICE, you guys hate ICE so much, but ICE helps shut down sex traffickers, and I don't have the numbers of what the percentage is every year that they're they're stopping the sex trafficking. All you people that are rising up on the activism side of how horrible sex trafficking is, but you can't see the forest for the trees when he's putting in place, again, law and order. He's putting in place law and order to slow down. When was the last time they had a bus? Well, I've seen plenty of things here in Florida. They've had several busts now with the sex trafficking rings. But there hasn't been as many. If you remember, there was a time it was a big rise of they kept busting these sex traffickers. I haven't heard a lot of stories. Now, you guys can correct me, put it down in the comments, tell me what other stories you've heard coming out about these sex traffickers being busted. Now, some might say that's just because they haven't gotten caught yet, whatever, but that wall is going to help because that's where a lot of the drugs and the guns and a lot of things, sex trafficking comes in through Mexico, okay? In case you didn't know. Do your homework and your research for yourself and you will see what I'm talking about. He also raised employment and lowered the unemployment rate, in particular in the African American community. He's creating more jobs. He's taking off the stipulations for the businesses, which is opening up the economy, which is helping the businesses be able to hire more people, make more money, and all that good stuff. He is constantly thinking of ways to stimulate the economy. Why? Because he's a business person. He has a business mind. He knows how to run a business. I don't care what any of you say about the tax situation, which we can go there and get into that. He also set it up for this peace deal in the Middle East, which caused him to be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. I think this is like his third. And it seems to me that he would be well deserving of it based on all this list I just gave you. I don't know how many things. I stopped counting. You can tell me how many they were. He's done all this stuff in 3 years. He's done more in 3 years than Joe Biden has done in his 47 years in office. You tell me, what has Joe Biden done that I can put a list together for? I don't know. I'll wait. I still am waiting. Okay. So I don't know what, I don't know what Joe Biden has done that's helped anybody except for Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. That's about it. He's helped, I don't know what he's showing, but he's helped Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, okay? You tell me. You tell me what my husband is doing this. He's over there in the corner laughing. This big laugh. You tell me, what has Joe Biden done for anybody other than Joe Biden? Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. Okay? All right. So if you're like me, you want to have religious freedoms, you want to have less crime, more order in our society, more civility, if you want to, any of these things, you're basing your opinions of him. He's still laughing. You're basing your opinions of him based on some comments that he said, missteps. He's misspoke, or he's very brash in the way he talks sometimes. Okay, I'm not going to lie about that. I won't make excuses for him on that. I pray for that man that he gets control of some of that stuff and how he talks and the different language he uses. But you can't deny his record. You can't deny all that he's done. I just listed out, I don't know if that's like 25 things. You count it for me and tell me. Anyway, make sure you comment and let me know anything I missed on this list. I'm sure it's something. But Trump has done a lot for this country. It's going to be a sad situation if he's not reelected. God forbid. God forbid, and God help this country. I hope and pray that America does the right thing and votes in her best interest to reelect the person that has done so much for his country, more than any other president that besides probably, especially for African Americans, since Abraham Lincoln. Okay, since Lincoln's freed the slaves, tell me what president has done more for the African American community. Your last few presidents wrote crime bills to lock all your people up. So I don't know. Let's wake up, people, and get it together. God bless you. I'm Epiphany Tanya. Make sure you go check out my books on Amazon.com under LaTanya's Epiphany. And until the next video, peace.